All right. Hey, I am live again. I can't tell. I think that I've lost everyone. It's anybody there? I think I lost everybody. Did I lose everybody? Okay, thanks, Stephen. I think I lost everybody that was watching. It was my fault. I set up a personal hotspot, and I think I lost everybody that was on the other channel that was on here before. It looks like everybody's gone. I thought I could do this. Thought I could. It would work. When I tested it earlier, it worked. So. Yeah, so I think everybody's probably still waiting on what I was doing before. So, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and hopefully everybody will figure out. Yeah. So, Stephen, is the other chat? Is anybody still on the other chat over there on the other one? Looking at two devices. Okay. So I think there's two of us, you and me, Stephen. Dadgum, I really thought I had everything figured out. Okay, all right. So, hey, I'm just going to go ahead and people can watch this and check out later. So, for those of you, thanks, Stephen, for checking. For those of you who will get caught up later on this, at last night's Bible study, I talked about a pastoral confession, and I said that I was going to do it this morning in the morning prayer, since I'm always looking for things to talk about. So here is my story, my quick confession, and already spent 3 minutes, so I need to get into this. Yesterday morning, I had an appointment with somebody from church. I won't mention any names, but somebody from church with whom I meet somewhat regularly for kind of leadership accountability. And that person was the recipient of on a previous Sunday, I had given out some very simple $5 Dunkin' Donut cards to a lot of the people who help serve on Sunday, just as a quick thank you for all the effort that people have been putting in to Sundays, because it's not been easy. And this person isn't a Dunkin' Donuts fan. So they brought the card back and they said, a very gracious thank you. They said the note was really nice, but no need to use the card. So that person said, just use it for somebody else who would appreciate the card. So we were sitting in the front of my desk. I was not behind my desk. We were sitting in front. I took the card and I put it right next to me on the edge of my desk. And figured I knew I was going to give it to a little bit later. So that person left. And shortly after that, a woman came into the church. I was standing at the office door where Joanne's office is, standing at the office door, chatting with Joanne, going over some things that needed attention. And a woman came into the church door. And this is a woman, I've actually talked about her once before. This is a woman who recently came to Horizon. Oh, hi, Pat. I'm glad you got caught. I'm glad you figured out and moved over. Sorry about that. I had to reset everything up, and I hope it will continue. Hope it continues to work. If not, I'll just have to do this tomorrow. But anyway, so this woman came, honestly, she came to Horizon providentially. There's no other explanation for how she ended up getting connected with Horizon. This is a woman who currently is homeless. She's living out of a car, and we were able to help her at Horizon maybe 6 weeks ago. And there's one young woman at Horizon who really has been just, hi, Kathy. There's one young woman at Horizon who really has been a gift to this woman needing help. And if you're watching, I know that sometimes you or your mom are connected, and just love you. And I'm so grateful for what you're doing with this. And you know who I'm talking about. Hi, Mom. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, so this woman ended up coming to Horizon. She's actually been to church once or twice. She's homeless, living out of a car. And for those of us for whom, this COVID time has been hard and difficult. And I know that for a lot of us, it's been, I think for everybody, it's been difficult. But the one thing that we don't know, and I've talked about this several times, is most of us have no idea how desperate people are who are disconnected from other people and disconnected from really society and culture. And if you can imagine, like, living in a car, and just how despairing that might be because of just the desperation that you normally would feel when you're disconnected from human beings. And then now it's magnified. So that's what she's going through. In fact, this is something that's actually grown to bug me. I can't say that it bugged me at first. I still believe that what we can do through YouTube, this kind of thing, in connections, is a really good thing. But I'm starting to recognize that that there's an element of this that we're really missing. For those, and this is really growing to bug me, for those of us who are able to watch on YouTube and kind of get on in life, one of the things that's happened is, in the process of this, really the church has turned its back on the people that were most drawn to Jesus, the people who are outsiders, and really they've been left behind by the church. Yep, the clock is ticking away in the kitchen. And that's starting to bug me. And I'm starting to wonder if, in fact, this whole thing is even a test from Jesus to see how the church will respond. Because it's okay, we're doing fine, many of us. And when I say doing, it's hard, but we still have our connections we can watch on YouTube. But it's really starting to bug me. I'm starting to wonder about a whole group of people, the very people that were drawn to Jesus, the outsiders. And in many ways, we're having a hard time connecting with them as a church. We've left them behind. But anyway, this woman, she stopped by my office again yesterday. She stopped in, came in the front door. I was talking to Joanne. And I could tell as soon as she walked in the door, I could just see the level of desperation on her face. And yep. Yeah, you are, Stephen. All of you have no idea how grateful we all are to Stephen Hinkle. Anyway, so she came in. We walked back to my office, and in part, she showed up really just to be reassured by the presence of another person, another human being, somebody who is expressing care for her. There's one young woman from Horizon. Your mom. You or your mom might be watching, and just so grateful to you for your concern. So she showed up, this woman showed up, really just to be reassured by the presence of a person. We chatted, and she's still living in her car. And I just am not sure that you and I can understand the level of despair and disconnectedness that somebody like that is experiencing right now. Living without any other human being in a car, and you walk outside and everybody, we're all hiding behind our masks. And so she really was in need of another human being. So we talked and we were able to help her again. And those of you who are part of Horizon, it's you who are making that kind of help available to us, because you guys have continued to keep giving financially to the church. And so we were able to help this woman yesterday, and actually we'll be doing something more a little bit today for her. So when we're done with our talk, she was very teary, and she had a mask on. She came in with a mask this time, and she was sobbing and teary. And, you kind of imagine somebody who's crying and her nose is running. And even with her mask, she kept wiping her nose, thinking, I'm not sure how effective that mask is anymore, but that's okay. And when we were done talking, she stood up, and I knew right away. She was sitting in my office, in the front of my desk where I had been sitting with someone else an hour earlier. She stood up, and I knew by the look in her eye that she was going to want a hug. And you just know that sometimes. All you got to do. She just looked at me, and I knew she was going to want a hug. And again, we just don't know. Many of us just don't know how desperate many people are for a physical connection, especially people who don't have it, especially people who don't have the benefit of living with families. And there are many people, even people who are coming to Horizon on Sundays, we don't get how desperate they are for somebody who is going to act like Jesus Christ and be unafraid of a physical touch. You think about the stories of Jesus who touched lepers. And so kind of that's, as I've been thinking about this lately and what's going on, that's the policy that I have personally adopted. I'm not out hugging everybody. I'm a Pennsylvania Dutch person, so I'm not anxious for that. I'm not out hugging everybody. I'm not handshaking everybody. But all you got to do is look in an eye of somebody, and and somebody wants to shake hands, and I see that in their eyes. I am not going to stop that, and I'm not going to stop a hug when I can tell. So this woman looked at me. I knew she wanted a hug. So I gave her a hug, and, she's sobbing on my shoulder and wouldn't let go for a couple minutes. And finally left my office. I walked her out and, got to the business of helping her, some of the things that we needed to do after she left. So had this encounter in my office. Later that day, mid-afternoon, about 3:00 in the afternoon, I was going to run some errands. So I wanted to write some thank you notes to people, and I wrote those thank you notes. And in one of them, I was going to stick that Dunkin' Donuts card. And I went for the card. I knew where I had put it, right on the edge of my office, my desk. And the card was gone. The Dunkin' Donut card wasn't there. And I looked everywhere. I lifted up books. I have a mail sorter where I keep files and mail. I lifted that up. I went through it. I looked under my desk. I looked in my seat. I checked my pockets. I looked all over, and that Dunkin' Donut card was gone. And then it suddenly dawned on me that I had only had 4 people in my office that day. And that young girl, that desperate girl, was one of them. And I suddenly thought, I know why she walked over to give me a hug. When she was giving me a hug, she swiped that Dunkin' Donut card. And there's a part of me that kind of chuckled. The card wasn't worth a whole lot, but I thought, that's okay. It's all right. She needs it. And I was in no way offended by the fact that that she took the card. I was like, it's fine. I'm glad that she has it. I'm glad she can use it. But in my mind, I was kind of chuckling, like, I can't believe she walked over to give me a hug just so she could swipe that Dunkin' Donut card. So anyway, I was glad we could help her. But I went on with my day. At the end of the day, 5:00, I was leaving my office, and I had written 2 other letters. and I figured I would drop them off at the post office. So as I'm walking out of my office, I picked up those 2 letters, and one of them felt unusually heavy. And I looked at it, and I have no idea how this happened, but the envelope that I was using, or one of those envelopes where the sticky is, you peel off a label and the sticky is there, and somehow I didn't seal that envelope right, and the Dunkin' Donut card was stuck inside that envelope, and it was right there. And when I had earlier in the day, when I had lifted up mail that I had been looking, that Dunkin' Donut card was stuck inside that letter, which is why inside the envelope, it wasn't in the envelope, it was stuck to the seal, which is why I never found it. And I thought, oh my gosh, here I am. I had in my mind, I had accused that young woman of giving me a hug in order to swipe a Dunkin' Donut card. And all along, the card was stuck there in that letter. And at the end of the day, I found it. And I went home and I told Donna and Scott at dinner, I said, well, I got a pastoral confession for you. Told them the story of how I had blamed this desperate young lady for swiping a Dunkin' Donut card. And I should have saved it for a good humor Monday, but I was going to tell the Bible study last night about my pastoral confession, and I didn't. I said, I'm going to save it for this morning. But and it struck me, my pastoral confession is how quickly we make judgments. I had 4 people in my office that day. She was one. It never occurred to me that any of the 3 others would have taken that Dunkin' Donut card. My mind immediately went to her. And my mind immediately was, wow, she gave me a hug so she could reach over and swipe that card. And she didn't. The fault was mine. And I think often about how we view people and the judgments we make. And there's a great verse in Romans chapter 2. It's 11 or 12. I can't remember. Romans chapter 2 that says simply that God does not show favorites. God doesn't look at people the way we do. And this was such a good lesson for me about favoritism and how we view people. As my pastoral confession, that I made a judgment about a human being based on the fact that she was a person who is needy and needs help. And very often we think, well, those are the ones who have done wrong. And she didn't do anything wrong. It was me and my judgments of people. And it was such a good lesson for me. Here I am thinking, oh, I'm doing this noble thing by deciding to hug this woman and trying to act like Christ and not being afraid to touch people who are desperate for a touch. And meanwhile, in my brain, I'm the one. It's like Nathan pointing his finger at David and saying to David, David, you're the man. So such a good lesson, at least for me, the way we view other human beings. So I am, as you guys all know, I am at our family farm. I got a pile of books. I really need to get to work on having some time for message preparation, is figuring out where we're going next. So I want to pray for all of us, and especially be praying for those people for whom, I'm sure you would, Mom, you're good at that. And she would appreciate that. In fact, she should be there on Sunday, although not 100% sure because she's got some job opportunities. But let me pray, and then we'll get on with our day. God, thank you for your goodness and your faithfulness to us. God, I thank you for the reminder that we all need, that right now that there are people who just are so desperate because of their level of disconnectedness. And God, I am so grateful to you for the fact that as a church, we have these abilities to stay connected. And it's such a good thing. It has meant so much. On the other hand, God, please help us to remember and help us to not leave behind those people who are most drawn to Jesus, the people who are outsiders and who are disconnected. God, please help us find ways to continue to express your affection and your love for people who need help. God, this pandemic has caused a level of despair in people that for some of us, it's hard to understand and hard to imagine. The job losses, the economic disaster, and just the fact that there are people who have no other human beings who are present in their lives. Help us to be you, to be your body for people who need it. And I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. Alrighty, everybody. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. And hope you guys have a good day. I just made a pot of coffee back there over my shoulder, and I'm planning to have hopefully a prayerfully productive day. And love you all. And let's see, it's Thursday, so I will see you tomorrow. Have a good day.